Ooh. How are you, Ron?
Doing good, thank you.
Good. Before we get going, do you have an update on Ricky Seals-Jones from yesterday?
Yeah, Ricky had a lower leg contusion. It's a little sore this morning, so we just keep him out just as precautionary. Everything came up negative, so we're feeling really good about that. He'll be day to day. We'll see how he is tomorrow, and if he's ready to roll, we'll get him back out there. But a little bit of caution right now.
And I'm sure you've seen bigger scrapes during a training camp.
Oh yeah.
But I'm curious, like third day, hot out there, you're in the middle of that action there. What do you think about like when guys get like that? Do you like when they get like that? Is there a party that likes it, or what do you think?
I think it's a good teachable moment. One of the things that I talk about with these guys, about how to practice, and one of the sections I put is about fighting. Don't fight. It makes no sense. Why? You get into a fight, you get penalized, you get fined, you get hurt, you can get taken out of the game. So it's a teachable moment. I'll use it. I'm not a big fan of it. Back in the day, it was line up and see who wins the next play. And that's kind of my attitude about it. I told the players how I feel about it, and really, like I said, it's something we can learn from, because sometimes some of it is if a guy gets into your head and now you're more worried about a personal battle as opposed to focusing in on the game.
Ron, I have a quarterback competition kind of philosophical question. When you're looking at, and this I guess applies to any position, but specifically a quarterback, how much kind of preconceived notions go into a decision for what you know from Fitzpatrick, what you know from Heineke, versus what you see out here on the field and in preseason games? Like how do those things kind of mix in your mind of how you make a decision?
Well, I think part of it is just who the player is too now, because we got Fitz who's a very veteran guy, and there's a lot of things that you sit there and you watch him and you say, well, he does that because he's a veteran. Well, if he did something wrong, you sit there and go, oh man, he shouldn't do that because he's a veteran. So that plays into some of the thought process. You watch Taylor make a mistake, and oh, that's inexperience, man. He's going to have to learn. He's going to have to grow. Kyle may do something. You may think about Kyle and say, oh, gosh, Kyle, you've been in the system long enough. You should know better. So, yeah, that stuff does play into it. It'll be part of the thinking as we continue to evaluate our guys, and not just at the quarterback position, but for the most part, a lot of our positions.
Ron, I know you said you're still dealing with a lot of fatigue and stuff from your treatments and everything. How are you holding up during all this, especially with the later walkthroughs? Do you have to adjust your schedule at all with that?
Yeah, it does. And quite honestly, yesterday was a tough day for me in the afternoon. This is one of those times where going straight through really kind of wore on me yesterday. So today, I don't know if you noticed, but they were bringing me water and ice and cold towels a little bit more, just trying to help me through it. And it's about building back that endurance. Hadn't really had to do it because for the most part with OTAs and mini camps, it was half the day, and then I had a big break. Here it's I go from here, we'll go in, I'll watch the tape, we're going to meetings, and then so somewhere along the way I got to find a break. So, but thank you for asking.
And then do you have any update on Cam Sims and just?
Yeah, Cam's gonna be fine. He fell down on it, tweaked it, and he's a little concerned, and as he's worked out it, he wanted to go back out there and finish up, but Ryan wanted him to cool it down, and he's going to come in and treat him, but there was nothing serious there, at least initially, so we'll check on him just to make sure, but it doesn't look like it was anything serious.
In terms of Landon Collins, last month your DB's coach was saying that he was out here during OTAs kind of doing mental reps, watching what's going on. How did that contribute to him coming back?
I think it's really helped him in terms of he's playing fast right now. I don't know if you guys seen him make some plays last couple of days, and I think part of it is being able to stay in it and get those mental reps, stand back there behind the defense with Chris and watch the rest of the guys go through it. I think that's helped him. It's kind of interesting because sometimes when players stand back there and get the coaching perspective, you see a little bit more, and that probably helped him. He looks great. He's in great shape. He's working really well right now, and we're rolling him through with the ones, we're rolling him through with the twos. He's getting a lot of reps, just mixing it up. We got him playing a couple of different spots, and he's done a really nice job with all that.
Yeah, and just to follow up, what is it about what he's done that's allowed him to come back in 9 months as opposed to?
Well, I think part of it is is his drive and desire. Following the lead of the trainers, following the lead of the doctors, and really spending the time and taking the time on your rehab. Sometimes guys kind of, they taper off a little bit when they shouldn't be. He seemed to have pushed himself through it completely, all the way through, and that was really good to see.
Ron, you talk a lot about wanting to see competition out here, so I imagine you're enjoying watching the receivers. There seems to be a pretty deep group. What's kind of stood out to you collectively so far?
It's exactly what you said. I mean, it is a deep group. We've got a lot of good speed, a lot of quality speed. We've got some big guys that are very athletic. We've got an opportunity to watch that. So we've gotten a good mix of that as far as watching our players compete out there. It was, a lot of fun to watch. Today was a good day for some of our guys. I mean, Isaiah Wright had a very nice day today. He did have a drop, but he came back, and I think there was one series he caught all 3 balls that were thrown to him. That was good to see. We saw Terry going vertical a couple times today, and he and Fitz seemed to click pretty well. Just watching the different combinations, but Cam Sims is having a really nice camp as well. So it's only 3 days, we'll see how the rest of it goes, but there's a lot of good competition, which is going to bode well for us as we go forward.
And Steven Sims, part of that group, obviously has been a starter for this team, maybe tapered off a bit last year, but he's also in the mix for that punt return. What have you kind of seen from him? Have you seen anything kind of different as he's come back this year?
I'll tell you, he looks more explosive underneath right now. When you watch some of his routes that he's running and some of the plays he's had an opportunity to make. And that's what you need from that slot position. Is you need a guy that can be explosive, can shake his way through the middle, make a play, and then get vertical. And that's what we're looking for.
Stick with the receivers. What have you seen from Adam Humphries in these first 3 days, and just kind of what role do you think he'll have in the offense going forward?
You see a very savvy receiver that understands and gets it. One thing you're looking for is when a guy's out there and he recognizes coverages. You don't draw the route the way you don't run the route the way it's drawn. So when you watch him and his releases and he sees certain things, he makes those adjustments quickly because he's a veteran guy and he gets that. And that's really, if you're on the same page as your quarterback, the ball will get to you, and we'll find ways to advance it down the field. And you see that from him. So that's what you're hoping for. That's why we went out and got a guy like that could create some stuff for us.
Coach Natalie from ABC here in Richmond. Can you talk a little bit about Heineke and what you've seen in him? You've taken him from, Carolina to here. What is it about him that makes you believe in him so much?
I love his competitive attitude, the way he approaches things. He's got that very competitive, never die, I'm going to go out and do the best I can. And just that's an infectious attitude to have. Your teammates feed off of your energy level. That's what you want. You want that. And he makes plays. He knows how to make plays. He had a tremendous college career. When he was with me in Carolina, he did some things. If he hadn't gotten hurt, who knows? But last year, him coming in and doing the things he did, I think he's got a lot of support in his teammates. A lot of those guys believe he can do it. And that's one of the things that you're always looking for is just, a guy that can step into the huddle and command their respect. That's one of the nice things about having a guy like Fitz, who's done it for as long as he's done it and had the success he's had.
Hey, Ron, what have you made of Samuel Cosme? What do you feel like he's learned so far in these first opening days of training camp? I'm sorry.
It's interesting watching Sam practice and the way he does practice. He does practice hard. He does practice like, there is something on the line, and that's important. You want him to have that attitude that this is an opportunity and I've got to take advantage of it. It's interesting to watch him work in the group. Some guys are really good individual players and some guys work really well in a group. You watch Sam and he gets it. He's good individually. He's good in a group. He's the kind of guy that can help us going forward, and he's got to continue to compete because he gives himself a chance, a good opportunity if he continues to compete and practice well.
Three more. And then, just a quick follow-up to that is that Logan Thomas asked him, what's the next step in your maturation? He said it's about teaching the next people on the team. If he makes somebody else better, that makes him better. And that's kind of what Chase was saying, it's like it's about teaching. What would you say, just being in the room with these guys that you've seen in terms of them teaching, young guys and stuff, or guys who've had some success, what would you say you've seen some impact in that?
That's what you want. The leaders, they raise the people around them. So when you have guys like Logan, you have guys like Scherf, you have guys like Chase, guys that are helping the guys. You know, John Bostic is probably as good an example as there is in our group right now too. You know, but I love watching Logan with the young tight ends, especially with John Bates. He's done a great job with Tamarick Hemingway and with Samus Reyes. I mean, he communicates with those guys, and he'll tell them, you know, certain things. I talked about understanding coverages. You know, there was a route yesterday that Logan ran, and as soon as he started, the linebacker vacated the middle seam. Well, instead of bowing out and running into where the linebacker dropped to, he just turned in and presented an easy target. Very same play a little bit later, Bates, the man drops out into the zone, and Bates ran it just like it was drawn. And so you see Logan explaining to him, hey, look, if you see that, don't go running over there. Just find that little seam, find that little crease, and we'll dot you with the ball. That's what you're looking for, that type of communications. You know, you listen to Chase, and he's telling the young DNs, you know, don't attack the hole, man. Get on his edge. Get him to turn his shoulders, you know. And then watch John Bostic and just watch him with Jamin and Cole. I mean, that's what you're looking for. Good leaders raise everybody around them, and that's what you're seeing, and that's a really good thing. It really is. And you know, and you watch Scherf and you know, because he's working with Cosme right now, and he's taking them under his wing. He's explaining these things and how it works out on the field. So that's an important thing for us right now.
On the COVID list and a couple of people who are not playing for other reasons, how do you think that affects their development and what they can do in camp overall?
Well, you know, again, we've just got to follow the COVID rules and whatever the policies are. And, you know, unfortunately, what happens is, you know, if you have COVID, if you've tested positive for it, it's a 2-week period. If you've contact traced, you've got to get tested for the next 5 days. And you know, right now it's important. These are some important reps. You know, we got a lot of guys that are out there competing for spots. And when a guy goes out on COVID, he's going to miss, you know, those reps that are so important. And when they come back, hopefully they haven't, you know, gotten out of shape. Hopefully they haven't forgot the things that have been installed. I think what we've tried to do is we're trying to make sure we can get, you know, the material to them. And, you know, whether we have the coaches are calling in and Zooming with them or what have you, we're trying to make sure we can keep these guys in touch and up to date.
Ron, following up on that, I think now you guys have 4 cases, which is maybe what you had last year. I'd have to check the numbers on that. But, like, in year 2 of this, do you find yourself having to remind guys more of the protocols? Like, have you noticed any lapse or anything like that?
Yeah, it's harder than last year because it's open. I mean, you know, we're moving around as a community freely now to a degree. And because of that, you know, you come into contact with more people, and unfortunately you come into contact with more people that haven't been vaccinated. So you have to be extra careful, you know, and like I said, that's why I still carry my mask with me. I still put it on in certain areas. And so you've got to constantly remind the guys that, hey, we got to be careful, we got to be smart, you got to watch out for this, or pay attention to that, hey, you can't go out over here. It's hard. This year will be much more harder than last year. And unfortunately, the penalties will be much more severe than they were last year as well.
Just,
Thanks,
okay, yeah.
We got Brandon waiting.
Yeah.
Good.
What's up, Brandon? Obviously, Scott, right here. Good to see you, man. Got a little testy today, defense, offense, some moments out there. As players, you know, training camp, do you like that? Is that just kind of competitive juices? I know Coach kind of frowned upon it a little bit just now, but as players, how do you guys maybe feed off that, or is it a rallying moment?
Well, he frowned upon it on the fighting part. You know, he said don't fight, you know, but there's a lot of guys that like to talk during a game. So as an offensive guy, you have to be able to shut that out. You know, that's part of Chase's game. Like Coach said, that's part of Chase's game. He tries to get in people's head by talking. So if you're going to let that bother you, you know, he's already won. He's already won that rep. So if you got to just shut him out and just, you know, just keep playing football. So just leave the fighting out of it and move on with practice.
Easy question for you. Being back down here in Richmond, I know last year you were in Ashburn, having that training camp, a little bit of normalcy with the fans. What is it like, the kids day to day, seeing the kids, the smiling faces, the energy, the enthusiasm? What do you guys draw off that?
It's great, with not having them last year, it's good to see everybody here, and we enjoy every fan out here. So it's good to be back down here. I think we got one more day down here, so we're going to enjoy it tomorrow.
Brandon.
Yep.
Especially during camp, you got a lot of young guys, a lot of rotating parts next to you on
Yep.
the line. How is that for you? Do you have to make adjustments, and how much do you work with, especially the younger guys that come in?
Well, Coach Matsko does a good job with doing walkthroughs. So he walkthroughs all the plays before practice that we do at the hotel. So we have an idea of what we're doing and all the adjustments we have to make. So, it's really just taking those reps during meetings first and then applying it to the football field. But Chase, Chase is the one making all the calls. So he gets us all, if we're all wrong, we're all wrong. If we're all right, we're all right. So we have to listen to Chase's call and just go on that. So I'm trying to help Sam and who's ever next to me as much as I can, as much as, like I go back to talking about Corey Lichtensteiger and Trent and Morgan and all those guys that help me. I'm trying to be that guy for Sam.
How do you do that? How do you be a leader in that sense, and how do you mix that with kind of focusing on your own kind of performance?
I got to do a better job at leading, and that's I'm always setting a goal on trying to be a better leader for myself, and setting that standard, so that Sam can look up to somebody. Because I looked up to Trent, I looked up to Morgan, I looked up to Corey, I looked up to all those guys, Sean Laval. So I'm trying to be that for Sam, which is going to raise my game to be a better leader for the whole team, and that's one of my jobs. So that's one of my goals I've set for myself.
Hey, Brandon,
Yep.
over here. First time we're seeing you since your contract situation came to a head there. You're back on the tag. For some guys, playing on the one-year deals is the way to go. Others, maybe a myth they didn't get a longer-term deal. How comfortable are you with your situation right now?
Well, I'm comfortable. I'm excited to be here again. I keep stating that I want to be here the rest of my career. So I'm here for another year, and I'm hopefully going to be here for the future, and that's my goal. But all I can focus on playing this year and playing the best that I can, and like I said, being that leader for everybody else.
And sorry to ask another longer-term question, but obviously to this point, neither you guys haven't been able to negotiate a long-term deal. You've done a tag twice, a third tag seems unlikely. So how confident would you be to actually be able to figure out a long-term deal if you haven't been able to this point?
I'm very confident. Like I said, I've always stated I want to be here the rest of my career, so I'm very confident in that.
Well, Ben got rid of the contract question, so we'll go back to Sam Cosmi. What are some of the little things that you have worked with him on, specifically that maybe was a little bit surprising, eye-opening for him?
I'm just saying, just with the different fronts they get, opening the stance or tightening the stance, just different looks that I know that I've seen before that people have helped me with, different adjustments that the secondary makes and all that, and the linebacker alignments, whether they're going to run a blitz or whatnot here, just the pre-snap, all that pre-snap movement. As you're a rookie, everything speeds up really fast, but once you get those adjustments, it starts to slow down, and then you can think less and play a lot faster.
Got another contract one for you. Sorry. Why do you think it's been so difficult for, you guys have had 2 years of negotiations. Why hasn't it been reached by now, do you think?
I'm not worried about that. It's up to my agent and the front here, so I'm just worried about playing this year. So, yep.
A football question for you too is you're coming off an all-pro season, your first all-pro season in the league. Where is your game at in your mind right now, and where are the areas you're trying to kind of hone in on still?
So every day I watch film, and from practice I set a goal of what I want to focus on, whether it's my left hand, my outside hand, just set different kind of goals each and every day so that you can stack one practice on top of another. If you think you're perfect, you're not. So if you think you're perfect, you should probably just give up and stop playing. So you can always improve in other areas and get better, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Hey, Brandon.
Yep.
Just a follow-up question to that leadership role. From being here in training camp 2 years ago to now being here, a lot has changed for you. How much do you actually like and embrace that leadership role? Because it's not for everybody.
Right.
How much do you embrace that?
I enjoy it. That's what I try to set my one of my goals on is being a leader, because I feel like I'm trying to do everything the right way. So if I can lead somebody or help somebody just improve or get better, then I was successful. So I'm just trying to help somebody do something that they never thought they could do before. Yep.
Hey, Brandon. Hey, Brandon. Hey, nice to see you. Ron identified you as one of the leaders on the team that's been helping a lot of the young players step up, particularly Sam Cosmi. I'm just curious, what do you tell him? He's had some really tough reps against Montez Sweat, Chase Young. What do you say to him? How do you instruct him on how to improve day to day when you're going up against some of that competition?
I put Montez and Chase up there as one of the best end duos out there. So he gets to practice against one of the best, duos every single day. So, he's going to lose some, he's going to win some. So if he loses one, I just tell him, pick your head up and do it again. You can't get beat. You can't let one play beat you twice. So if he messes up, holds his head down, he might get beat again. So I said, just move on, flush it, move on, and just improve.
I hope somebody didn't just ask this and I spaced out, but offensive lineman, there's so much comfort that goes with people you're around with, and you were next to Morgan Moses for a long time.
Yep.
So how odd is it to be out here now and it's new faces to your side?
It's different. I was with Morgan for 6 years, and we grew a lot together, and we did a lot of good things together. So I appreciate him, and I know he's having fun right now when he's in New York right now. But Sam, he's going to be a heck of a player for us, and I'm excited to grow that connection with Sam and Luke and Sadiq and all those guys.
I wanted to ask about vaccines. We're asking everybody, obviously. Is that something you feel a lot of external pressure on, or do you feel like your teammates have kind of accepted your stance on that?
It's a personal decision for me. It's a personal decision for everybody. Nobody's made a deal of it. We're all here to play football, and that's what we're doing.
All right, thanks, Brandon.
Yep, thanks, guys. Yep.
So how good do you feel being back out there and just moving around? Are you moving around the way you had hoped you would at this point?
I feel incredible moving back on the field and being back on the field. Do I feel the same? I feel way better than before. I feel stronger, faster, in shape, and just doing my thing. So I'm back on the field and I'm happy now.
Are you surprised to say that you're feeling better than before? And if so, why do you think you're feeling even better?
I would say I had a chance to really focus on myself and my body and things that I had to work on. I would say so, and especially coming off that Achilles, you have to really worry about your weight and making sure you don't come back overweight because you're putting more strain on that body part. So stuff like that, just things I eat, things I got to work on and stuff like that. So it just feels better just to be back on the field now.
When you were first injured, did doctors tell you 9 months? Are you ahead of schedule? Like, what was the timetable? And it seems like 9 months is like incredibly fast.
They said 9 to 12 months. I got back 7.5 months. Yeah. So.
Naturally following up on that, like, what is the difference? Like, why were you able to recover so fast?
Oh, I had a team of doctors on with me day and night. Every time I did something or something was different or tweaked anything or felt better, we just stayed on top of it. So literally, I had my doctor, Dr. Ashley, had my training facility down in New Jersey, and my team in Louisiana. So literally had 3 different components that worked on me day and night, and always followed me everywhere I was going. So it wasn't a day off for real for me.
You said on Ryan Clark's podcast, the one that just came out about safeties, you said that you feel a lot of pressure being in your position as kind of a veteran guy of the group. Did you feel more of that being out and not being able to be with them on the field? And how do you manage that feeling of pressure?
So that pressure comes from way before just being out on the field, way before playing in the NFL. That pressure comes from middle school, high school, being a 5-star athlete, to being a college All-American, to being now in the NFL and one of the top athletes that's on this team. So that pressure's always on me, doing the right thing, keeping my guys' head straight, being the person that got to keep their head straight. And so Does it bother me? Can I live up to it? Yes. I take that pressure each and every day. That's something I live up to. That's something I walk into the stadium with a smile on because it's on my back and not on these guys. Because pressure breaks pipes, but I'm a strong pipe. I promise you that. Pause.
What do you tell younger guys that come in that maybe feel a similar pressure on kind of what the line is and balancing it so I can feel you but not kind of break you?
I say at moments where you feel things are overwhelming, take a breath, breathe, slow down. You got time for everything we are doing, because this is a game we love. Just take your time. It's a lot of pressure, but you breathe, step back, understand what's going on, understand the problem, focus on that problem, and fix it. It's gonna be sky's the limit from there.
Hey Landon, I wanted to ask about a month ago, your DB's coach said that you were kind of taking mental reps during OTAs by being out there with the guys. What did that do for you, and how did that kind of contribute to your recovery?
I didn't do really much for my recovery, but for myself, that's just me being a vet because when you're not on the field, you kind of could lose it, and getting on the field, you could be kind of antsy. Like my first day when after we did our physical, my first day I was like, got butterflies in my stomach. That's the first time I got butterflies for camp in a long time. And that's just me coming back. So I had to start there. I sit there and watch some film. I'm like, all right, let me watch this. When this play happens, I can see this, da-da-da. So little stuff like that, just kind of put myself back in that position, put my mindset back in that position, back on the field. Helps me out a lot. So it slows me down. It slows my mind down. It slows my anticipation down so I can just be the football player I can be and not going out there making crazy mistakes that I know better from making, you know?
How did you watch Cameron Curl grow in your place, and kind of what's it been like playing alongside him for the past couple days?
Growing my place, he did an awesome job. I loved everything he did last year. It gave us more versatility, so what we can do, he can play like a lot of people want me to play linebacker. Now we have the option to do that. Now we have the option to put me more in the box if we need to do so and have more DBs on the field because I love all my DBs. If we have 6 DBs on the field, I'd take it, you feel me? So with that being said, he did an awesome job. He did a fantastic job. I'm happy for him. He had a crazy rookie year. It's something I expect from him because he had me in front of him. He had me to watch. He had great coaches putting everything in him, and he was doing a great job and listening. He took everything because, I mean, some rookies could come in and be like, oh, I don't know what to do and blow it, you know? And he took it with stride. Us being on the field together is amazing because, like I said, we could be versatile. Now you don't know who's blitzing because he's a good blitzer. I'm a good blitzer. You don't know what side we're coming from. We could disguise a lot more, and a lot of eyes could be off of us now, you know?
Landon, to the point of the versatility, it looks like you guys are mixing and matching the secondary kind of all over the place, not just the safeties, the corners as well. It feels like it's more the normal, and certainly Coach keeps talking about it. Does it feel more the normal mixing and matching than you've been used to? And what do you just kind of make of the potential with all the different players that you guys have that can move around?
I honestly look at the potential. It doesn't confuse us because all us guys, we call ourselves DBs. We can play any position on the field. So we got Kendall playing nickel. We have Jimmy playing nickel. We have Cam playing nickel. That's a safety, you know. Different package. We played different teams this year that have more scat backs like the Chiefs with Tyreek Hill at number 2. So we need a faster guy on him, stuff like that. We don't want to have Cam in the nickel position or stuff like that. So more DBs on the field at that time too because they have good backs. A lot of teams have good backs that could be good scat backs. We cover backs better. We can cover backs better than our linebackers sometimes, you know. So it goes hand in hand, and it helps our defense out, and we get off the field.
What type of impact do you think William Jackson III can have on the secondary?
Great. Communication is big with him, I think. We talk all the time, and he was like, man, you just keep talking to me, bro. It's going to be sky's the limit. He said, man, he never had really much safeties talk to him. At the time, I think he was, know the defense he was in, it was more man and cover 3. So just knowing where our safety is going to be at, what we need to do coverage-wise is going to help us out in the long run.
You had a chance to watch Chase and Montez last year. Now you're behind them in the backfield. How good can that duo be compared to others in the league, and what separates them?
Ooh, those guys are special, bro. They remind me of JPP and Olivier Vernon when I played behind those two, and guys that could just do it all. They have the option to do it all, and it makes our jobs easy on the back end because they're going to get disruption, they're going to get their hands up, they're going to get tip balls, and then also with our blitzes, we had one today. Chase, they was trying to, you know, they're going to have a lot of teams that's going to chip block them. They brought in the max protection. They tried to max protect, but I also came in on the blitz with it because they're maxing protecting. So they opened up. Chase went outside. I went inside. I got a sack. So it makes it 10 times easier for our defense.
And then one other player, and you don't cover him per se, but Terry McLaurin, what have you seen from him, and even just in this camp? And I know, again, you're not the one on him one-on-one, but you are back there. You do see film and all that. What have you thought of him?
He's great. Speed. He's gotten better at his route runnings. He's doing great things with his hands. He's doing a fantastic job in there, putting him in positions to get him the ball to make plays, and that's our playmaker. So if we get him the ball, I think it's going to go TD every time, you know?
You talked about the pressure that comes with the upcoming season. You were so warmly embraced when you came here to Washington. The fans were so excited about you being here. Do you sense that this is a critical year for you to kind of show out and earn back that love, so to speak?
I think every year I come out here and try to show out. I want to prove that I'm the best safety always on the field and then around the league. I've done it before. I can do it again. That's my job, and that's what they brought me in here for. They didn't give me that paycheck just to come in here and lollygag. So I live with that on my shoulders all the time. That's the pressure I'm talking about.
What's up, Landon? Obviously, one of the hot button topics across the NFL right now is the vaccination debate. Some players just don't want to take the shot. How do you think that's going to impact this locker room in particular?
I don't think it's going to impact our locker in particular. I mean, it's the same rules we had last year, just more strict. They're pushing it more, but at the same time, we're not looking at it as a distraction. If you want to get the vaccine, it's your decision. It's not, if you do get the vaccine, it's your decision. You have personal reasons behind it. We all have our personal reasons behind it, and from there, we just go from there. Honestly, it's no distraction to our team. We come in here, we get dressed, we come in here and play football. That's all we got to do. If you tell us to wear a mask, we just wear a mask.
Just following up on that. Why do you think so many players are reluctant to get the shot?
It's just personal reasons, honestly. It's just a lot of personal reasons. People just see it differently, or they hear different topics about it, or they see different things, or there's not enough information. There's different things that can always lead people to not getting it into getting it. So, thanks, man. Appreciate it, boss. Thank you, guys.
Hi, Taylor. Natalie from ABC. You had a very successful college career here in Virginia. What does it mean to be back here but playing as a pro?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I didn't really realize last year when I first got up to Washington that, ODU is right down the street, and a lot of ODU fans are also Washington fans. So it's pretty cool. I've heard a lot of ODU fans out there in the last 3 days. So again, it brings back good memories from the college days.
Building off that, what's it like just being back in a training camp after not having that opportunity last year?
Yeah, it's, every day I wake up, I'm excited. I go back to where I was last year at this point, and, I was waking up at my sister's house and trying to find something to do. I was training for an opportunity like this, and, fortunately it came last year. So, again, I wake up every morning, I'm happy to be here, I'm excited, and, we have a really good team. So I think everyone comes to practice super pumped.
What kind of boxes are you trying to check off with this camp as it progresses?
Just get better every day. That's the goal. Fitz does a great job of really helping me. There's a couple things that I'm struggling with these last 3 days, and he pulls me off to the side and he's just like, hey, I had trouble in the past with those same things, and he's trying to teach me, what he did to fix those things. So it's a great quarterback room. These guys are really working together, and he's helping out a lot.
Just to follow up on that, what are kind of some of the things you're kind of working on through this early stages of the camp, like you said?
Yeah, I've always had some trouble throwing to the left sometimes. Sometimes it's behind a player or whatnot. And again, it's just something every day to keep working at it. And soon enough it'll click, and I think I'll be more consistent at it. But that's the thing right now that I'm seeing is just better throwing to the left.
And obviously you had a great story with the way things went last year in the playoff game. But ultimately, for Washington fans, at least, people are kind of looking at you based on 5 quarters of football, and it's, to that degree, it's maybe a little hard to gauge what you represent. How excited are you for this chance? Do you kind of feel like some pressure to prove yourself to say, hey, there's more? Those 5 quarters were what I am about.
Yeah, I'm my own hardest critic. No one's harder on me than myself. So I understand I was getting a lot of praise after the game, but we lost. And I go back and I look at the 2 games I've started. I've gotten hurt and I've lost both games, and I take that to heart. So, I want to end that streak. If I do happen to start, I want to go out there and win some games and lead this team to something special.
I wanted to ask about Landon Collins. What have you seen from him in terms of training camp and OTAs, and how do you feel like his level compares to pre-injury?
Yeah, I wasn't really here last year. Before he got injured and, stuff like that. So I'm not too comfortable speaking about him, but I do know he's out there flying around, having fun. So he brings a lot of energy to that defense, and, we're all excited for him to be back.
I'm curious how you view this kind of camp and quarterback competition situation. That Ryan Fitzpatrick's obviously an NFL veteran who's been around a while. How do you look at this in terms of trying to fight for a job, but also kind of work on yourself, understanding that he's probably isn't the favorite, for lack of a better word?
Yeah, again, I don't come in every day thinking I'm competing against him. I come in every day just trying to get better. And, I think he thinks the same thing. And, we just try to help each other to be the best. So, God forbid he gets hurt or they throw me in there. He's going to want me to be at my best so we can go win some games. So I think that's where both of our heads are at. So again, we don't really treat this as a competition, more as, hey, let's help each other get better.
Taylor, getting some work with the ones, how much does it help you to be able to go against that defensive line?
Yeah, it's huge. The speed and size of those guys, you can't simulate that any other way than going against them. So, when Chase and Sweat are coming from the edges, those are 2 of the top guys. So you got to really make sure your footwork are right, your timing is right. So, you got some good corners out there too. So you got to be perfect with that against those ones. And again, it's a work in progress every day.
Hey, Taylor, you mentioned sleeping at your sister's house at this time last year. Right before you signed, you're in a classroom at ODU. Now you're in this position where you're getting reps with the ones here. Do you allow yourself to ever sit back and reflect on how far you have come? And, if you do, do you want to shake that out of your head to just focus, or is that a hard thing to do?
I did right after the season. I took about 2 or 3 weeks. I kind of went back and watched the Tampa game, 1 or 2 times, and I just wanted to be proud of myself. I did accomplish something that, I didn't think was going to happen. So I wanted to soak that in, but at the same time, I didn't want to, hang on it for the longest time. There's still a lot of work to be done. And again, I don't want to happen what happened the last 5 years, to happen again. So I just went back into it, started working, and I'm just trying to be in this league as long as possible. So that's my mindset.
And then Terry Mcclure, and I know you've gotten some chance to work with him, and he's talked about working on his releases and all that. Do you see a difference in his game at all, even from your perspective, in the limited time that you have been out there with him?
Yeah, again, I came in late last year. I think he was a little banged up at that point. So this is really the first time I really gotten to see him really practice and go through it. So again, he's smooth out there. When he runs his routes, it's a thing of beauty, and you saw him make a lot of plays out there today. So he's really fun to watch.
When you do have mistakes, what is your process in cleaning those up? Do you remember kind of struggling with another area of your game that you've really kind of helped improve over the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's always kind of been arm strength. So, I don't have the strongest arm, so I always have to be on time. Whether that's with my reads or whether that's my footwork, they kind of go hand in hand. So that's my biggest thing, is making sure my footwork and, my reads are, all in rhythm, so that ball can't get there on time. And, let those receivers be safe and not get killed by safeties and stuff like that.
Taylor, before the Tampa Bay game, not a lot of fans knew who you were. They didn't know who Taylor Heineke was. But now you go out here in training camp, people are doing the Heineke chant, saying your name. You have that attention. What is that like, just from where you were at your sister's house, not knowing about what your future's going to be, and then starting that game against Tampa, and now here we are, everybody knows who you are?
It's pretty cool. Again, I try and not let it, get to me too much. I feel like I put in a lot of work over the last years, and fortunately with the 5 quarters I played, here we are. So, I enjoy it. I think it's pretty cool because I've worked very hard for it. But again, like I said earlier, there's still a lot of work to be done, and again, we just go out there and win some games and see what happens.
When you were taking classes, were you ever close to just saying, okay, it was fun and that's it, and I need to get on with the rest of my life? Or did you never get to that point?
I was close. I was about 5-6 weeks away. I always told myself I'm going to give myself 2 years from the last game I played to see if I can get back in it. And I think that's kind of a good window. And those 2 years were creeping up there. I think it was week 10 or 11 when I got called up. If I didn't get called up this past season, I was going to hang them up and start the new chapter of my life. So I'm just proud of myself for sticking with it, training throughout those months when it wasn't looking too good. So again, for all you people out there that it's not looking too hot, just keep working. You never know what's going to happen.
Do you know where your Dudley Award is?
Dudley Award is at home. I think it's at my mom's place, so I think she's hanging it up somewhere.
Prominently displayed.
Yes.
Hey, Taylor, with all that in mind, you talked about your journey and possibly thinking about hanging it up. I know you said you don't look at it as a competition with Fitz, but when you hear your head coach say, hey, there are 2 clear-cut guys in this quarterback competition and you're one of them, does that energize you a little bit, just given all you've been through in your journey?
Yeah. Again, like I said earlier, I wake up every morning just like, hey, last year at this point, I was waking up wondering what I'm going to do for the day. Go on a 10-mile walk or do something. And now I'm sitting here throwing balls to awesome receivers and playing some football and getting paid for it. So I couldn't be happier. I'm excited every day. And again, just come out here and try and get better every day.
Just an update on the classes. I know you finished, got the finals. Any final grades? Where's that master's degree, whatever, going to go?
Yeah, so there's an ongoing joke with my family right now that I'm a college dropout. It's been it's been 10 years now, so I got 2 classes left. Hopefully finish those after the season, whether it's online or on campus. But thankfully I passed all those classes, took the finals right after that Tampa game.
Hey Taylor, we all see Fitzpatrick on the field making those great plays, but what is he like off the field? Who is Ryan like as a person?
He's an awesome guy. When things are kind of going tough or you have a kind of a bad day, he's kind of the guy to crack a joke and make you remember it's a football game. Don't take it so serious. Obviously it's your job, but you're here for a reason. You're good enough to play, and just take a deep breath. Everything's all right, and he just brings a lot to the team. I've played with Sean Hill in the past, who was a 15-year veteran. It was kind of the same thing. Especially for the young guys, you kind of get stir crazy. You don't know whether you're doing right or wrong, and he's a great way of good person to go to and kind of calm you down until you're doing all right.
Anybody else?
Thank you, guys.